Welcome everybody, this is How to English, Teach and Learn with Gav and Em.
It's a podcast about teaching and learning English as a foreign language.
All opinions stated are personal and references will be given when necessary. How are you doing, Em?
Doing well?
We're very excited because this is episode 7, EdTech.
What is EdTech?
That is the question I'm going to throw straight back to you, Em.
Okay, I love it when you answer a question with the same question. EdTech, educational technology.
And is it different from our previous episode on season 1, episode 4, which we titled Technology in the Classroom?
I think it will be a bit different because in that last episode, very long time ago, we were talking about all kinds of technology, including pens and erasers and
books,
interactive whiteboards and computers, of course, but anything that you use other than your voice, let's say, in the classroom. So we discussed technical problems, teaching online,
technical solutions.
That's right. We talked about all the different platforms for teaching and how they compare the positives and the negatives, and a lot of tips for when you get in trouble with Wi-Fi connection and when students just keep saying, "Can you hear me? Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now?" So go back and listen to that one because it's a good place to start.
It is. It's probably a good way to get your tech head on for this episode, where we'll go a little bit further. But to be honest, I'm not a very techie person, and I haven't really progressed very much further than when we were talking last time. Fortunately, we have a lot of help from our special guest this episode, who is Charlie from Charlie's Lessons, who has offered to teach us something about some of the ed tech that he uses in his lessons, and he can explain all of that to us later.
Yeah, I agree with you there. I don't think I've delved into ed tech quite as much as perhaps some people, and I feel a bit like I need to because I've been teaching online now since the beginning of the pandemic, so that's 2 years, more than 2 years ago, and I'm still trying, I think, to apply the same rules of teaching in a classroom to teaching online, and I think I need some new ideas now.
Well, remember, EdTech isn't only for online teaching, Em. It's also commonly used in physical classrooms too. When we say EdTech, this could mean tablets, interactive whiteboards, or apps on your mobile that allow students to improve their skills. So I've got some notes on some of the most popular ones. Will you read them with me?
How am I going to do that, Gav?
Well, I'm going to share with you a Google Doc, Em.
Ah, okay.
Hold on a sec. Right, I've sent it to your email address. Tell me when it arrives.
You've got mail. Yes, I'm opening it now. So I'm on my inbox. I'm clicking open the email. It says Gav has shared a document, and then there is just a button that says open. There's no link or anything. It's just a really easy to understand big blue button.
Do you know this person? Do you trust them?
I do. I recognise the email address.
Go ahead.
So I'm going to press open, and then it's opened another page on my browser, and it's there. It's all there. And I can see that it looks a bit like a Word document. There's all these different ways. So I can edit it, I guess.
That's right.
You
have permission to edit. So
did you allow me to edit that?
I did, yes.
Right.
It's titled Apps for Learning Languages. Is that right?
Yeah. That's at the top. It tells me the last time it was edited by How to English Pod. Very professional. And I can click anywhere on the page. There's hyperlinks there. There's highlighted things. Looks very good.
So go ahead and read the first app that students might want to use.
So Rosetta Stone, very famous one. Rosetta Stone, which uses a speech engine to check your pronunciation. What is a speech engine?
Or you speak into your phone, and then the app will tell you if you've correctly pronounced the words.
Oh, very good.
It's very cool.
Yeah.
The second one is Fluent U, which has media-based lessons.
And then we've got Hello English that provides live English classes online. Sounds good.
Very cool. Duolingo, that's the one with the owl.
Yes, I have that one. I know that one. Very famous. And then we've got Hello Talk, where you can chat with language partners via text, voice messages, voice calls, video calls, and even doodles. What's a doodle?
Doodles where you draw a little picture or something.
Nice. So whatever your preferred medium, that's there on Hello Talk.
So there are also e-learning platforms such as Domestika and Skillshare, which are websites where you can watch online classes to learn new skills such as languages, illustrating, business and marketing, photography and video.
Is that an interactive thing?
I think it's a series of videos where you can learn different skills, like a workshop.
Yeah, pre-recorded.
Exactly. EdTech is also the many online resources, apps and platforms for teachers to present their lessons online and in person in a much more interesting way for their students. And as we said, we're probably not the best people to talk about this, Em.
I think now it's time to introduce Charlie.
Charlie from Charlie's Lessons.
Charlie from Charlie's Lessons. Charlie is a CELTA and Delta qualified teacher and has amazing resources for teachers and learners. Recently, he posted a video on how to teach your first one-to-one class from doing a level test. Your new student could go online and get a level test and send you the results before the course even starts. Also, suggestions on course planning using Google Forms, plus tips on making notes during the first lesson to help you prepare to work on correcting errors in further lessons.
That is a very, very good idea.
It is.
Because I often have a piece of paper next to the computer.
Yeah.
And that's not really the most convenient thing to do.
Often you have to then type those notes up anyway. So yeah, it would be great to be able to do that as you're teaching.
Cool.
Charlie's YouTube channel also focuses on loads of cool apps and tech you should consider using and suggesting to your students, and some really useful video explainers on how to present different language points. In his own words, Charlie is passionate about education and technology that enables educators. You can find him on his socials under Charlie's Lessons on Instagram and Charlie's Lessons on YouTube, and that's Charlie's with an IES at the end.
And don't forget Charlie's website where you can catch his new blog, which is charlieslessons.com. Now is a good time to listen to Charlie from Charlie's Lessons.
Hello, Gav and Em. Thank you so much for having me on this podcast. I think this is only the second podcast I've ever done, so I'm a little bit nervous. But my name's Charlie. I'm known on social media and on my YouTube channel as Charlie's Lessons. I've been teaching English for over 12 years, and I'm currently Director of Studies at Click International House Caddies. So I want to start by just talking about my YouTube channel, and the primary focus of my YouTube channel is on educational technology, or EdTech as it's also known. And the reason why I started this channel just over a year ago was when the pandemic hit Europe, especially Spain, was that we had to move from face-to-face classes to online classes in the space of a weekend. And while the transition for me was not too difficult, as I'm quite used to using tech in the classroom and in general, for a lot of my teachers it was a big step, and they had a lot of problems with not only advanced features of the tech we were using, but also some of the basic ones too. This is when I realized that not only my teaching staff were having issues, but also teachers worldwide were having issues too. I decided to go for a video content for a YouTube channel because I'm a terrible reader, and I always prefer watching content or watching someone tell me how to do something rather than reading it. So it was easy for me to start making videos in that way. So in general, my channel is providing advice, tutorials, ideas for both EdTech and also perhaps more traditional ideas for the classroom. In fact, one of my most popular videos on my channel is on speaking activities, and these are most of them are actually not including any tech at all. There are a couple that do, but it just shows you that while I think educational technology is here to stay, there are teachers who are still looking for more traditional ways of doing activities in the classroom. So apart from that particular video, I do a lot of videos on tutorials in which I go through how to use a platform and how to incorporate or implement it in your classroom. I'm very keen to make sure that I give people who are watching practical ideas that they can use in their classroom. I think one of the biggest advantages that these platforms provide us are, for example, encouraging your students to collaborate. If we look at platforms like Padlet, then this is a platform that is built for student collaboration, and students can work on building a map, they can build a timeline, they can build a block of content together, and very similar perhaps to Canva as well. Canva is a design tool online that's completely free, and you can invite students to work on the same project together, and it really does produce some amazing results. If you are looking to test students' understanding of content in the classroom, then platforms like Kahoot, Quizzes, Educandy, and Bamboozle are also amazing tools that not only test your students' understanding, but also provide you with reports which you can use to then start planning the next lesson or next class. I think people are familiar with platforms like Kahoot and Quizzes, but there are lots of alternatives also nowadays, which also just provide something a little bit different. You can also start building online lessons. Platforms like Nearpod, Mentimeter, and Quizzes' own lessons creator can enable teachers to build lessons that are completely online. They're kind of like a PowerPoint where you go from slide to slide, but a lot more interactive and a lot more dynamic as well. I actually did a tutorial video on Nearpod, and it's one of my most popular videos, and I love this platform. It's so powerful, and it really creates a whole new experience for your students every time you do a lesson. I am working on a blog as well, which is going to mirror the content I'm producing for my YouTube channel, as I am aware that, while I'm a big fan of video content, there are teachers out there who do prefer to read content. So keep an eye out for that. It will be under the same name, charlieslessons.com, and I'll be starting to post on there very soon. Before I do wrap up, I do want to say or talk about something related to educational technology. I do see a lot of friction sometimes, or a lot of resistance from some teachers on tech in the classroom, and I understand that. I'm not a fan of forcing teachers to use tech in the classroom if it's not absolutely necessary. For example, we did set up online attendance sheets, but one of my teachers decided to keep doing it by paper, with a red and green pen, and she had a point, because sometimes the internet would go down and she'd have to then, or if it was up, she'd have to log in, find the spreadsheet, load it up, etc. Where with a traditional paper and pen, it was very quick. But despite that, I do think that we are moving towards a more technologically focused classroom. And I do think that teachers, or just people in general, if they're not prepared to embrace this change, then they're going to be destined to be left behind, I'm afraid. So I think it's if you are interested in learning about EdTech and how you can use it in your classroom, then why don't you go ahead and watch some of my videos. I tried to keep it as simple as possible, and so that everybody can understand. Well, Gav and Em, thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to speak on this podcast. And I hope that anyone who does go over to watch my videos gets something out of it for their classroom. Thank you so much.
I love that idea of collaboration, because I think my early ideas of online, I thought of it as a very individual thing where everyone was in their own house, in their own office. And the idea of collaborating was really hard for me. But I think the further on I get with online, I feel that is a possibility. Charlie's videos really show ways to help that collaboration happen.
He definitely gave me a lot of confidence when I watched his videos and saw how, with all these apps and platforms available, Charlie's videos are really useful to help us gain the confidence that we need to work together.
You've got to use the right tech with the right class, or maybe just start with a class that you trust and that you've had for a while. I've often experimented with my classes just to say, right, I want to try breakout rooms today. I've never done it. I'm not sure if I'll disconnect or cut you off, but if it happens, please don't leave the lesson. I'll let you back in again. But just experiment, or even with family members or friends if you can, outside the lesson. But it's important that you try it with a group that you're confident with, rather than putting all of that energy into one class and then getting it wrong. But once you've done it once, it's so easy. You sort of wonder why didn't I use it before, and how much it helps. I used breakout rooms the other day on Zoom, and I didn't know you could actually share your screen in breakout rooms. It's a new feature. And I said to my groups, well, I'm going to split you into 2 rooms. And when I'm sharing, I won't be able to come into the room because I'll cut the connection if I come into a room. So I had to put them in rooms and then leave them in the rooms. And I couldn't go in there and check it. But it worked. It worked. And at the end of 5 minutes, I said, okay, 5 minutes, I'll ask you to come back out of the room. And then I asked them what happened while you were in the room. What did you see on the screen? What did you hear? And then I felt really confident the next time that I did that, because I knew what the students were going to see.
That sounds amazing. And you had the confidence to put the control in the student's hand and say, okay, this is how it works. This is what I want you to do. I'll see you in 5-10 minutes. And then they come back again. And then you ask them all about their experience.
Yeah, I was terrified, to be honest. But now I know it worked. I'm not terrified.
So instead of me filling the show notes with all of the apps and platforms that Charlie mentioned, for example, Padlet, Canva, Kahoot, Nearpod, etc., I'll just put Charlie's links in the show notes, and then Charlie can share his knowledge with you on there.
I like that. Yeah, great idea.
That's a good idea, isn't it?
Just one of the many sites Charlie mentioned was Nearpod, where you can share your PowerPoint slides, matching exercises, drawing activities with loads of templates and pictures you can use if you want to make your lessons from scratch. Nearpod also has a huge library of editable lessons, including videos. Some of them are in 3D and using VR, and various activities which have been developed by other teachers. You can even have live lessons with your classes using this platform.
That is amazing. So it's not only creating like a PowerPoint or all of these interactive activities that you could send to your student and they can do on their own, but you could actually have a live classroom where the teacher is operating the activities and the lesson and the student is following the directions of the teacher. So connect by Zoom and then you can do the whole thing as an online lesson.
Exactly. Sounds like it's got everything. After watching Charlie's Nearpod explain a video on his YouTube channel, so I went ahead and I made my own lesson, which I want to share with you. But before I show you it, I just want to ask you something, because it's all about memes. What is a meme, Gav?
A meme is a picture, usually, or a short video, and it often has text, and it's typically funny or clever, and it's talking about some current event and is usually trending. And what people do is they take that picture and then they replace the words on it, or they change the picture somehow, and they multiply across the internet.
That's it. That's what a meme does. It's like a viral thing. It goes everywhere. And you're right about the same picture, different text. So it's instantly recognizable. You know it, but the words are different. So you might need a little bit of time to work out what the funny joke is, or the comment, what it actually is about.
That's it. They mutate and they grow and they, as you said, become viral and everybody recognizes it.
I'm sending you my link, Gav, to my Nearpod lesson. You should be receiving it any time now.
Right, I'm opening the link and it's taking me to app.nearpod.com and it's opening and it says quiz, 1 question. Oh, it's the same question. What is a meme? And it's got a picture of a meme that I definitely recognise. It's the one of the little boy with the colourful background and he's wearing a green and white t-shirt and he's saying yes, but there's no words. He's just expressing achievement or success in something. And below it's got ABC. So So the question is, what is a meme? And I've got multiple choice answers, A, B, and C. A says it's another word for being unkind to someone. B, it's a phrase which teaches a moral lesson. Or C, it's typically a picture with text that is shared on the internet. So I know the answer is C. I'm going to press C, and yes, ding, 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 ding. Got lots of little sparkles, and that is correct.
So you got the little firework to say you got it right. What about the other two words, Gav? What do you think it is, a word for being unkind?
I would say that would be cruel or nasty or evil.
Yeah. And B, it's a phrase which teaches a moral lesson?
Would be a proverb.
Very good.
Thanks very much, teacher.
Go to the next page. Could you work out how to do that?
I'm going to press right on my keyboard. Yes, it's going to the next page.
You can do that, or you can press the big blue arrow on the right side.
Right. So you're following me on your screen?
Yes, I am.
While I'm doing the activity on mine. Right. It's telling me that I got one correct answer. Well done, me. Now I'm going to go to the next page.
That's obviously an example. If you want, you could add however many questions you would like.
Now it says, choose the missing word or words to fill the gap. More than one may be correct. I'm looking.
I want you to look at the meme that's in the top left of the screen, and I want you to describe that meme that you can see, and then I want you to choose the missing word in the space. You've got 4 options, but I just want you to tell me the word you think fits.
Right, let me describe the meme first. We've got 4 pictures. In the top left picture, it says French. We've got a French flag, and there's a woman angrily pointing at somebody, and it says in the box below her, singular, le, la, le, plural, les. Right. And in the top right box, it says Italian, and there is the man with an Italian flag, and he's also pointing, and he's really angry, and it says singular, il, lo, la, le, plural, il, gli, le. Bottom left is another picture. It says German. There's a German flag. There's a woman. Oh, wow. And now it says nominative, accusative, dative, genitive. And there are a lot of words. Der, die, das, die, etc., etc., etc. And finally, the bottom right corner, there is a rather smug-looking cat. Rather happy for itself. And it has English above it with the UK flag, and there is a space. And I think in the space I would put the word the. Is that correct, Em?
That is correct, Gav. Well, you can check your answer, but can you just explain the meme? Why is it funny? What is it trying to tell us?
I think it's telling us that English is a very simple language with only one article, the.
Yeah.
And these other languages have many different words instead of the.
Good. So the original meme, I think, was the first woman you described with the cat opposite her, and this has been used many, many times to describe the feeling of one person being very angry and frustrated, and the other person just being like, nah, it's all fine, it's easy. So that really shows you the emotion of all these other countries and their languages just looking at English like, that's not fair.
You're right, English is very easy. I'm going to move on to the next one. The next one shows a picture of 3 people in a street. There is a woman on the left walking towards the camera in a red dress, and it says in a box in front of her, it says the internet. There is a man in the middle who is walking with another woman. I think they're together holding hands, and in the box with the man it says me, and he's turning. He's looking like, ooh, I quite fancy her. And the woman he's with is looking at him like, oi, why are you looking at her? You should be looking at me. So I guess the third woman is jealous or a bit angry. Now, the missing word, I guess, from this list I have here must be your English homework. Is that correct, Em?
Ask the computer if it's correct.
Let me click the button. Yes, it's the correct answer. I think it could have been any of these answers, really, because it's also your free time, your sleep, your partner. So all of these things could be jealous of me and the relationship I have with the internet.
Okay. So the thing you should be doing or should be paying attention to is looking at you like, hey, I'm over here. Can you look at me, please? But you're distracted looking at social media and all the many distractions that the internet provides.
I think we can all relate to this meme, and maybe it's familiar to everybody. When I described the three people in it, they've probably seen it before, but with something different written in each of the boxes.
So next one.
Our next image is divided into 4 squares again. It has a picture of a husky dog, and I think it's kind of progressing. It's going from the side of a swimming pool. Its first paw is about to step into the swimming pool, and underneath it says listening. So I guess the dog it looks quite confident at the moment. In the second picture, the dog now has 2 paws, which are about to enter the swimming pool, and it says reading, and the dog still looks fairly confident. In the third picture, the dog is now just entering the pool. It looks a bit scared, kind of losing its confidence, I think, and it says writing underneath. And in the fourth picture, the dog is submerged in the water. It's kind of trying to swim, but it looks absolutely terrified. And the missing word must be, let me look at the options. I think the answer is speaking.
Yes.
Let me click the answer. Speaking. Yes, speaking is the right answer. That was easy. I knew that one.
Can you explain that one?
I think it symbolises a student's confidence in their English, where they're very confident, they're listening, their reading is okay, their writing is a bit iffy, maybe not so confident, but their speaking is where it totally lets them down, and they lose all their confidence when they have to produce spoken English.
And they feel like they've been pushed into a swimming pool and they can't reach the bottom and they're just flailing around trying to keep their head above water like the husky. I actually don't know this meme, Gav. Have you seen that one before?
Oh, I've seen it so many times before.
Right. It's a very good one. Very clear what the concept is.
Well, thank you for choosing these fabulous pictures. I really enjoyed that, Em.
One more activity that I'd like you to do.
Let me have a look. I'm going to press the right button again, and it's going to take me to the final page. Oh, it's the little kid that was at the beginning of our lesson, and he looks really triumphant and really like he's achieved an amazing success in his life, even though he's only 2 years old.
What I want you to do with this is to make your own meme. So you've got a space next to him. What do you think he's saying?
Right, there's an empty box, and if I look down the bottom of my screen, I can see I've got a little pen, I've got a marker, I've got, maybe that's an eraser, I've got a typing tool. I'm going to move the typing tool into the box so I can write something. Now, what is the kid happy about?
You haven't mentioned his little fist full of sand, which I never noticed it was full of sand, but it's almost like he's saying, he's got the sand and yes.
Yeah, that's it. It's a clenched fist. And it's that kind of, yes, I've done it.
Yeah.
But you're right, it's full of sand as well. I think on my meme, I will write, yes, I've got a 9 in my IELTS exam.
Nice.
Do you like it?
I do like it. You could change it using a gerund at the beginning without I. Take away the subject, like to just express the feeling of...
Getting.
Say again then.
Getting a 9 in my IELTS exam.
Which I think is more meme-like. Personally.
Yeah, it's got to be short, hasn't it?
Yeah. And it's more of a direct statement of just a fact. I like that, Gav. So getting a 9 in your IELTS exam is like, yeah,
yes,
I've done it.
I really like that. You know what we could do, Em, is we could share this.
Let's put a link to it in the show notes so people can see what we've been talking about.
That's great, because it's very difficult to describe things without pictures, Em.
You did it very well. You did have pictures, Gav, but you mean it's difficult to understand when you're only listening to it.
It's difficult when you can't show people the pictures for them to understand what you're describing.
That's right.
Finally, Em, we're going to do
Teacher, Teach Me,
in which we present a teacher or learner who introduces a grammar point or some vocabulary or pronunciation. And this week we're really fortunate to have LaDoris from Pronunciation with LaDoris on Instagram. And you can also find her on YouTube too, at Improve My Pronunciation, where you can get loads of fantastic pronunciation, grammar and vocabulary tips, where she helps her clients upgrade their pronunciation and accent.
Hi, my name is LaDoris, and I'm an American pronunciation coach. We exist to evaluate and upgrade our clients' communication skills, to uplift their confidence so that their image is consistent with their personal and professional goals. Welcome to Improve My Pronunciation. On this channel, you will learn how to reduce your accent so that no one will know that English is not your first language. Let's go ahead and get into the long E and the short E, baby. Talk about the differences between the long E and the short E. I'm going to give you some tips on how to pronounce it better, how to hear the difference, and some words and a quiz at the end. All right, so let's get started. With the long E, you want to make sure that you are smiling really big. Hey, are you sure about that? Yes, that's true. Keep smiling and smile harder for the long E. So you want to say cheese. For the long E, your tongue is going to touch the side of your top teeth. Say, so LaDoris has a hard time of being a little rude, so I'm going to help her out. With the short E, you're going to look like you're fake smiling a little bit. Yeah, it's one of those half smiles where you're doing your best to muster up a smile, but it's not quite coming out. Your tongue starts in the middle of your mouth and moves forward. Your jaw is almost closed once again. Plus, your top and bottom teeth, they just might touch towards the end of the word. Bet. Sometimes I become suspicious of these English sounds. They sound a little weird to me because they're not always written like they sound. Long E, meme, evening, sheep, bad, and brief. All right, just a little tip. Go ahead and say these English words like it belongs to you. You're not an outsider. You belong right here with everybody else. Your English sounds great and your pronunciation is getting better by the day. So with that being said, let's go ahead into these short E words. Pedal on a bike. Again, take two. Let's do that again. Guest. You're welcome to be a guest on my channel anytime. All right, if you can't hear the difference in these words, then go ahead and use a mirror. Let me get mine. Speaking practice. I am going to say 3 sentences and you're going to count how many long E words that you hear and comment them down below. My friends can become like family. My friends can become like family. Can you break me off a piece of that Kit Kat bar? One more time. Can you break me off a piece of that Kit Kat bar? We have work to do this evening. Once again, we have work to do this evening. All right, guys, that's all for today. Go ahead and tell me down below how many long E words that you heard in the speaking practice. Not only that, go ahead and hit the subscribe button. It won't hurt you to hit that button and show some love. Go ahead and hit the like button as well so more people can see this channel. I will see you guys next time with another vowel for the vowel series. Bye.
Thank you so much, LaDoris. Don't forget to check out her links in the show notes. Thanks for your time, Em. All the followers, check out the transcriptions, check out our adverts on Instagram. And Em, I'll see you next time.
Bye, Gav.
Bye.